Hey guys, we're on part 4 of a series called The Blessed Life, and I've borrowed some scaffolding and ideas from Robert Morris. Certainly give him credit for that. And so this week is part 4, and it's breaking the power of mammon. So we looked at Luke chapter 16. No servant can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. He'll be loyal to one, he'll despise the other. Jesus says you cannot serve, listen to this, God and mammon. Can't serve both of them. So what is mammon? Number one, what is mammon? Mammon is an Aramaic word that has a lot of meaning culturally with them. There is a Greek concept of Plutus, which is sort of the god of money in the Greek mind. In the Syrian mind, it's very similar from kind of this concept of Babylon. In other words, I don't need God, I just need mammon. I'm going to worship mammon. Mammon is the answer to my life. And so mammon is the concept sort of as the god of wealth, of money, the object of all of this stuff we want to have. And so it's not just the physical paper money or our credit card, it's the god of wealth. The spirit of mammon, I think, has gripped our culture and our psyche. We've grown up with this in our own minds, even as Christians. And here's what mammon says to us. It says, you don't need God, you need money. You don't need God, you need money. So the spirit of mammon tries to replace God with its own provision. The provision of money, the provision of pride, the pride of things. This idea that listen, that is mammon would say, I'm your security. I'm your identity. I'm everything that you need. You don't need God. You need more of me. And so a lot of times we say to ourselves, maybe you've said this, man, if I just had more money, then my answers would be solved. What about if I just had more God? My answers would be met. So there's a real spirit of mammon. Morris, in fact, suggests that there is a spirit on money. Either it is a spirit of mammon or it's the spirit of God. And listen, I don't think anybody would deny there is something powerful about wealth, about money, about this idea. It grabs us emotionally. It influences our desires. It's something the enemy uses to break marriages apart. And so it's something that is beyond just a simple piece of paper. There's this idea of a spirit upon money, the spirit of mammon. Money that has the spirit of God on it. Listen, Malachi reminds us, when you trust God and when you move your money out from under the spirit of mammon and give it to the spirit of God, it's redeemed. God tells us that he says, I will rebuke and I will destroy the devourer in your life. So I want to encourage you, when we think about what money offers or mammon offers, security, if I have enough money, significance, identity, happiness, freedom, power, peace, all of those things. The spirit of mammon promises everything that really only God can deliver. That's what mammon's all about. Number 2, is money evil? Is money evil? Now, the root of the money is the root of all evil. 1 Timothy tells us that money is the root of all evil. And in fact, 1 Timothy 6 through 10, look it up if you like, says this, but godliness with contentment is great, listen to this, great gain. It's great gain. For if we brought nothing into this world, we can take nothing out of it. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. Those who want to get rich fall into a temptation and a trap. They're lured in and into many foolish and harmful desires. In other words, there is lusts that plunge, listen, people into ruin and destruction. There's power there. This concept of mammon. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. Listen, mammon lures, mammon leads to lust, mammon leads to a lostness, a wandering, and mammon ultimately leads to lament. It's a powerful force. So money can be used for good or it can be used for bad. Money itself isn't evil. It's what we do with it that brings blessing or cursing. Number 3, what do I do with money? So I know that what mammon is, it's a spirit that rests on money. It tries to replace God in my life as the supplier of what I need. And I know that money is not evil, but the love of money and the worship of mammon, if you will, is wrong. And so what do I do with my money? It's real simple. We need to be stewards of what God has given us and give our portion, our 10%, our tithe, our first fruits, that God would redeem that. Luke 16:10 says, "He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. And he who is unjust in what is least will be unjust also in much." Verse 12 says, "If you've not been faithful with what is another man's, who will give you what is your own?" So the bottom line isn't how much, it's whose it belongs to. You may have very, very little. You may have a lot of wealth. The bottom line is whose is it? And no matter whether we have much or we have little, we give our portion to God and God blesses the rest. Don't be caught up by the power and the worship of mammon. Stay away from the whispers of mammon that would say, if you just had more of me, you'd be happy. No. If we just had more of God, God is number one. He's on first base. He's the one we worship. Awesome. See you next time.